Allah. 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 Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ahmaduhu wa asta'inuhu wa astadihi wa astaghfiruhu wa umminu bihi jalla wa ala wa la akfuruhu wa ashhadu wa la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Arsalahu bil huda wa din al-haq liyudhhiruhu ala ad-din kulihi wallahu karihal mushrikun. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him. We seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. This way of life, known as Islam, will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Allaha yahmaru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dal qurba wa yanha anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'idhukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Allah commands justice, the doing of good, and liberality to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. فَمَنْ يَرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Those whom Allah in His plan willeth to guide, He opened their breasts to Islam. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in a state of Islam. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided amongst yourselves. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. You are the best peoples ever raised for mankind, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjidi al-haram ila al-masjidi al-aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina innahu huwa as-sami'ul basir. Glory to Allah, who did send his servant for a journey by night from the sacred masjid to the furthest masjid, whose precincts we did bless, in order that we might show him some of our signs, for he is the one who heareth and knoweth all things. We wanted to deal with this subject today because it has some special characteristics. And the first is what the Quran is saying. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi. Glory to Allah, who did take his servant for a journey by night. Min al-masjidi al-haram ilal masjidi al-aqsa. From the sacred mosque in Mecca to the furthest mosque at that time, Al-Quds in Jerusalem. Now, many may not be aware of some of the historical significance, but for instance, the 5 daily prayers was outlined for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at this time. He visited, he had his vision of paradise and the different levels in that, and on the way back, he stopped at different prophets, and it finally gets to what did your Lord outline for you? He said, well, da 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 da, and he gave the answer to the. Finally, one of the last stops was Musa alayhi salam, and he said, what did your Lord outline for you? He said, so many prayers per day. He said, have him reduce it. If you can't, ask him for, I've been back too many times already. And first it was 50, and then now it's 5. He said, that's it. So technically, when it says, Subhanalladhi asra ba'abdihi laylan min al-masjidi al-haram ilal masjidi al-aqsa. And the reason we have in this today is because I don't know how much rest you can get, but in Jerusalem today, at the site of Masjid al-Aqsa, at the site, the same site where Imam Mahdi will appear, the same place where Isa alayhi salam will go out to lead the prayer, right? It is that exact same place where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ascended to paradise, which precincts we did bless. You could tell something as big is going to happen because it says Subhanallah. That means praise to Allah. You know what I mean? It's something Subhanallah. When something is big didn't happen or getting ready, you say Subhanallah. Well, that's what Subhanallah, something big is getting ready to happen already. Praise and thanks be to Allah. So when we look at all this today, we turn on the news, and this is the line, Zionist news in the first place. But they try to make sure that Muslims have a miserable time during Ramadan. Let me say that again. If you're in prison, if you're anywhere under direct control of the Americans or the Zionists, they go out of their way to make sure you have a miserable time during Ramadan. In the penitentiary, when I was in the joint, they always cooked up something so that during Ramadan, the brothers would have a miserable time. Until we got used to it so much that we'd had countless schemes. But now they're beating, brutalizing, stealing the land, which they've been doing for over 70 years. They have really gone crazy. And this is a bad year. So we take this day and set it aside. Now, people might say, well, you're not from those people, those Arabs and da-da-da-da-da. Well, we're Muslim, and humanity, we're Muslim. Do you know what the technical name of Masjid al-Aqsa is in Jerusalem? Al-Ul al-Qiblatain. What? The first of the two Qiblas. You got to remember, Muslims prayed toward Jerusalem first. The very old Masjid, it's a couple from the real old days, they have two Qiblas in them. Because the Muslims pray before, when the message come from Allah to change the Qibla, they right in the middle of prayer. And all of a sudden, the Prophet ﷺ turned and he's praying toward toward Mecca instead of Jerusalem. What I'm trying to say is, Jerusalem has a special significance for us, no matter whether if we're Yahud, if we're Christian, right? They go on to Bethlehem and they go on everywhere, right? The Christians, right? Jesus of Nazareth was over that way. But anyway, so it's difficult for us to rest comfortably here while the believers are going through so many challenges over there. All right. That's why we start today with this. And remember the Quran that we opened the part, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. The وَاعْتَصِمُوا, asama is the root word, is in old Arabic sense. Asama was the name of the capital city. Why? Because it was secured and it was fortified. So they called it the capital usually Asama. So wa'atasimu, which is root, wa'atasimu bihablillahi jami'an, hold on all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you. What? By yourself? No. Jami'an. This hand, Jam al-Yad, that means closed fist. Salatul Jum'ah, the day of gathering a congregation. Hold on together to the rope of Allah all together and be not divided. And we'll get into that in a little while. But so when we think about Jerusalem, it's not because we speak Arabic, we from that area. No, it's because we're Muslim. It's because those people are being oppressed and what have you. I don't think you can set the Quran on the floor. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. If that's the Quran, even if it's Hadith, it's best. Yeah. So, there's another one we want to go through. So remember, the stuff that's happening today in the Muslim world is on all of us. It's a part of us. It's not a part of them. It's not a part whether they're Arab, because if they invade Yemen right now, can you imagine the richest Arab country in the world is invaded? The poorest Arab country in the world? Right now, right this minute, right? In Yemen, you can see the little children, well, they used to show them on TV. Their arms was as big as your finger. You could see them right now on TV. Starving them to death. This is the richest Arab country in the world starving its next door neighbor. If you knew how many rights your neighbor had on you, it would be unbelievable, right? If your neighbor, if you cooking food and it smell blows over into your neighbor's house, you got to pour some extra water in there so you can share it with the people. That's the rule of a neighbor. That means if you got something, if you're the richest Arab country in the world, instead of bombing and killing and murdering your neighbor, you should be sharing some of that oil wealth with them, because they are poor. That's what sadaqah, in fact, zakah, all that. That's what it's for. Okay. So, there's just an ayat. Have we not made for him a pair of eyes, and a tongue, a pair of lips, and shown him the two highways? But he had not made haste for the path that is steep. And what will explain to thee the path that is steep? It is the freeing of a bondsman, or the giving of food in a day of privation to the orphan with claims of relationship, or to the injured down in the dust. Then will he be of those who believe and enjoin patience, constancy, self-restraint, and enjoin deeds of kindness and compassion. For such are the companions of the right hand, but those who reject our signs, they are the unhappy companions of the left hand. On them will be the fire vaulted over and all around. Again, this ayat may not seem like much, but we have a certain mission here. Wahidaitu al-Najdain, the two highways. Right here it says, haven't we shown you the two highways? That is the two ways that, use the high road and the low road, if you want to go by Western psychological discourse. But he hath made no haste on the path that is steep. The path that is steep. And what will explain to thee the path that is steep? That is the freeing of the bondsman, or the giving of food in a day of privation to the orphan with claims of relationship, or to the injured down in the dust. Or the injured down in the dust. All these are giving us messages for what we see our role and what we see the Muslims are missing in today's. They're shown two highways. Aladdin gave them lips, eyes, everything to perceive reality, right? So why can't you see clearly what's going on in your world today? And I've shown you the two highways, right? One, it relates to the uphill road. What will make you know what the uphill road is? Right? It is the giving during the days of privation to those who are down in the dust. That includes the homeless, the sick, the needy people. Hey, man, down in the dust mean that you just, you need help. Big help. Not a little bit of help. Okay. So now, we have a certain mission. Now I want to go to something that that's all around us. At first, we had a fundraising flyer, for And then, so after a couple of days, we said we got to go back to where we're coming from. So I'm going to close by reading from these. We started with the ayat that we just made, and then it says, whoever sees an evil, let him change it with his hand, and if he's not able to do so, then let him change it with his tongue, and if he is not able to do so, then with his heart. And that is the weakest of faith. If you see wrong being done, you should try to change it. We don't have the military power. We don't have the, whatsoever power to go and change it in America, I'm talking about, with our hand. We don't have the military power to force a change right now in America. But then it has the other road to relief. Then you should speak out about it. And if you were in a dictatorship like some of us would live in before, under Saddam Hussein and under some of those dictators in the past, they would kill you. And they had pictures in the schools of, say, Saddam Hussein. If you was in Iraq, and they would ask a little child, what do you think of him? If the child said, oh, he's a great guy, da, 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 da. And if the child said, that's a bum, that's a murderer, they'd go kill the parent. Because somebody had to teach the poor kid that stuff. So they'd know they had a subversive amongst them. So some places you can't speak out about wrong. It's too dangerous. But the weakest kind of faith is to feel bad in your heart. That must be the type of thing that the Muslims here in America have. They're just feeling bad. Well, we're not from that school. We from the school of speak out about it. And as we go along, you'll see that we've been speaking about the reason there's a few people in here today, right? This masjid used to be full of people. Packed to you couldn't get in. Why is it like this? Because we speak out about this stuff. And we're not going to stop speaking out about it. Why? Because what's happening to the Muslim is around the world is our responsibility. And no matter what fitna we get here, we got it good. We got it good. Let me show you something. You can come up here and read this stuff. Now, everybody's been coming and know this stuff happens all the time. This is a water bill. And this water bill says $4,598. And I'll leave it here, $4,598. And that's for the property we own. We own 8 pieces of property, and they would like to get them all back. Because when we came over here, this was southeast. Right, 30 years ago, nobody wanted to come. When I came here from Oakland, I said, man, what part of D.C. is it that nobody want to go in? They said it's southeast. I said, that's where we're going. If don't nobody want to go there, that's where we're going and get the truth out. And we got over here, and true, it was low density, not like Northwest, and low density, and property was cheap. Right? Everything. So we got 8 pieces of property, and we paid for them, like we bought them cash money. But they want it back now. So that place right there next door has a water bill of $4,598. Now, we got tons of bills. You see every car around here? Those cars used to run perfect, but all of a sudden you go in there and it don't start. Or there's a piece missing. And all of that stuff. But that ain't new. That stuff been going on for 40 years. And we're still here, rolling right along. And that's only 2% of it. There's a 24-hour-day fitna program here. And it's always been like that. And we like it. Because the more fitna you get absorbed in, the stronger you get. Right? You want to get smart, overcome some challenge. So I'm not saying we're the smartest people in town, but something's going on for us to deal with all this fitna, and everybody else is in their masjid scared to death, And we're here, Abe Foxman, the head Zionist, Steve Emerson, the deputy head Zionist, and what's the other guy? Daniel Pipes. Those are the triangle of fitna for Muslims. The three Zionists, they encourage people to write books. They write books themselves. They have websites. You know, I don't want to stray. But we study these Zionists, so we wanted to influence things. So what we did was we make flyers all the time, and we had the most serious flyer condemning the Zionists. The Zionists wanted to show everybody what we was about. This is maybe 2008 or something like that. So they took our flyer and put it on their website. Now you got to remember, probably 20% of the people that go on these Zionist websites are Muslims to see what they're about. You see what I mean? They did free advertisement. That's psychological guerrilla warfare. Right? We had them ain't nobody going on no website we got, right? But they have 1 million people, well, at that time it was 500,000 people, go on the Zionist websites. So that means 100,000 people saw our flyer, right, in our words. Because to them, when a Zionist, oh man, he said this, that, and another, hey, that's psychological warfare. That's using what you have. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because a lot of times you got to use what you have. For instance, this thing on the water bill, if your water runs for when at our other house down here, our water ran for a couple of hours, the man from the water company was parked right there watching the house. Pretty soon he said, is your toilet running? I said, yeah, man, the toilet is running. He said, well, you better get it fixed. That was in less than a day. How could the water be running for 2 or 3 weeks next door? Right? How could the pump that we had, of course, when you go down there, the water was this high, and we got a pump in there too. If the water comes in at all, it pushes the water out, and we would see it out front. That's destabilized. Everything is destabilized. In other words, and they think we're going to pay a $4,500 water bill. They're absolutely crazy. All we're going to do is hook up our water right here. There's a hose sitting out there right there for it right now. And run the hose through the window over there. That's going to be at our strategic, Imam Tufail's strategic command center. Yeah. We don't need we got hot and cold water. We can send it right on over there. Yeah, right across the parkway, right there. Why we've been dealing with this bum for all these years and we're still here. We have the record for survival. Over 40 years of survival of messing with this dummy. Let me go on and read, so I don't want you to be here all day. A Muslim is a brother to fellow Muslim. He should neither commit oppression upon him, nor should he hand them over to an oppressor. And whoso fulfills the need of his brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill his need. And whoso brings his brother Muslim out of a hardship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve him from his hardship on the day of resurrection. And whoso conceals the faults of a Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal his faults on the day of resurrection. This is agreed. Muttafaqa alayha. That means that all Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, Bayhaqi, all of the collectors of hadith agree on this. Muttafaqa alayha. All of them agree on it. All right? So that's got to be a good hadith, because it go from the highest standard, Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, on down to hopefully acceptable. But we have learned over time that all Muslims share the same hopeful and optimistic picture of Islam in America and worldwide. We have also learned that standing for justice may mean standing alone. This is from one of our articles in 2000. Standing for justice may mean you stand by yourself. You have to get used to it. Anybody come here, they have to get used to that right away. You can't be a crowd pleaser and want everybody to be with you, because they're not going to be with you. When you study the history of past peoples that took even messengers and whatever, sometimes they had one or two people with them, right? Noah was here for 950 years plus, right? And he just barely had his family, and some of them, and his son was running off trying to get, where you going, boy? Well, I'm going to get to this mountain. Don't you see all the water coming? And what did it say? He was consumed by the water. So it could be everybody, friends, family, all the people you love. Let me speed up here a little bit. Okay, our goals: liberate first North America from Zionist control by our As-Sabiqun movement. That's us. Sabiqun, Sabaka, mean to go out first to win the race. Sabiqun, technically, they might go out and do the job, and they be gone before anybody know the job was done. And then Mufassir's writers, Tafsir of Quran, they refer to us as As-Sabiqun as the people before Badr. Badr was fought during Ramadan, about 18 months after the Hijrah. And everybody that accepted Islam in those days, that was before any big victories and all of that, they were serious, right? And they were known, according to Mufassir, as As-Sabiqun, those who went out first, those who accepted the challenge. Okay. Opening staff, the Imam Tufel Cultural Center. Okay. We continue to misdirect American Zionism in the direction of design decline, supported by protractedness, longevity. You support us, we'll support you. But it goes on to say, we will continue our enhanced policy of psycho-spiritual warfare. Now, I know that any of y'all have been coming here a little while. We use terminology that if you don't come here regularly, you don't understand it. In a war, you have to use, the best thing to use is the things that Allah give you special. And we don't have physical weapons and what have you, right? But what do we have? We call it psycho-spiritual warfare. We've declared war on these Zionists and Americans. And what are they strong in? Physical stuff. They'll blow you away in a hot minute. What are they weak on? Mental, psychology, and spiritual. They're the weakest spiritual people in the world. These people right here. They're committing suicide. They're going crazy. They're in America, hey, it's bad business. I'm talking about the people that you think are the happiest. They are going crazy, right? And they have no spiritual enhancement at all because they don't follow no spiritual processes, right? So we have declared war on them, but our strategy, our tactics would be psycho-spiritual. You look at these dummies now. You look at your dear president. Now that man is he's a bigger fool than Donald Trump was. Look at the mistakes. And then everybody in the world is making fun of him. I won't go in it, but everybody is making fun of them clowns. We've been doing it for decades, for over 40 years. Why? Because we expected this to happen. And what tactics we use? Psycho-spiritual warfare. You say, well, niggas are always coming up with some ooga-booga spiritual stuff that don't mean nothing. Well, all of you, a lot of you done had grandparents. Did your grandmother ever moan? You going around and say, oh, Lord, just moaning, right? People don't even know what moaning is now. So I said, Grandmama, why are you always moaning? She said, because the devil don't know what I'm saying. Right? Isn't that what the old people would say? The devil. And no matter what we get up here and do, we're going to psychological warfare, we're going to do this. And guess what? It happens. Tell the truth. Anybody been coming in, it happens the next week or the next year. All been going on for over 40 years. Why? Because the devil don't know what is them niggas talking about. He gonna take me and strip my pants down and whoop my behind in public, and I'm the head Zionist. I tell everybody what to do, right? And look at old Don last time, the old red-headed president. Didn't he get a public butt whooping, and he acted the biggest fool you ever seen, and went down to Congress and had his people the biggest fool in the world. And he said, you guys come from SHITHHOLE countries, isn't that right? That's what he said. He's talking like. And look who's the biggest fool now. Don sitting over there, right? And this president is dumber than Don. They make skits about him. He stand up there and go to sleep. What was you talking about? What was I talking about? He's supposed to go off the stage. He's supposed to go that way. Well, let me go on off the stage here. And he going that way. The man is crazy. We prayed for that. We asked for that. And y'all been coming here. This is the language we use. Psycho-spiritual warfare. Right. And, hey, it works. Psychological guerrilla warfare. Psychological guerrilla warfare is warfare where it's like guerrilla warfare, like you got a few men fighting against thousands, right? But it's psychological guerrilla warfare. It's only you and a handful of people, and they got the whole Zionist state, and this state here supporting Zionism. And guess what? They're all looking like a fool right now. That's right. But we got to get busy because they're killing our people all over. And they talk about illegal invasions, and they invade Iraq, and it's no problem. 2-3 times and killed people. Hey, remember what the old lady, Madeleine Albright, they asked her, they said, these sanctions have killed 750,000 Iraqis. She said, I think it's worth it. That's how many of the sanctions, not this last go-round before Bush went over there and killed all the people. I'm talking about before, right? Libya, he used to be the king of Africa, they called it, because he's giving everybody money with his oil. He had saved up a lot of gold, and they just went over and murdered and killed him, right? And they're murdering and killing Yemenis right to this minute for no reason. And the Muslims are sitting over here comfortable like everything is all right. I want to drive my cab and get me some more money. Yeah, and I want to get in school so I can, and there ain't nobody thinking about. So we know what we're up against. We know that everybody knows what we're talking about is right, but they're not coming over here. Now, we want them to all send money over here so it helps us a little bit, because you see, old boss man, he'll figure up a water bill for $4,500, $4,598. And his machine operates so that if it get up to $100 constantly running, they're going to come out and check it out. And they do, but they let that water run all the time. Run. Why? Because they sent somebody in there to make it run. Right? I'm just trying to tell you. And that ain't nothing. It don't make no difference whether it's cars. They don't run. And they all got brand new tires, ones around there. A truck over there, none of this stuff runs. Well, it'll run, but may not hold no liquid or stuff like that. That's your mean old boss man. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. Well, we love it. We love it because if we got to get somewhere, we'll walk. Yeah, it's healthy for you. Good for you. Let me speed up. I ain't going to keep you here. We made a promise. I hope we can keep it a little bit of it. Post-traumatic growth is a cornerstone of our activities. They have something called post-traumatic syndrome. Even the Negroes developed a concept called post-traumatic slavery syndrome. Y'all heard anything about that? That means that you've been a slave so long that you don't operate well now. Example, people come over here, anybody come over here from overseas, they're going to save their money, they're going to get them a certain type of right, they do that. And the Negro been here all the time, right? But what kind of habits he got? Well, if he get $200, he going to go buy some tennis shoes. Don't give him nothing back, right? The worst habits in the world, we have them. And everybody else that come over here, everybody got different habits. And they look at you and they say, man, what is wrong with the Negro? He deserves to be poor and be, well, you got your habits from the one that gave them to you. Backwards, stupid, and unusable. Where if you follow his principles, you'll never be nothing in his society, right? Yeah, because we used to say that he cut you off at the root, cut you off at the branch, and transplanted you over here. That's a whole new teaching, but here's what it is. Everybody, whether they come from Korea, whether they come from China, whether they come from India, Pakistan, Arab countries, every last one of them, they get together, they get them a gas station. They get together, they get a 7-Eleven, right? They get together and get something. If they came from the countries that we were stolen from Africa, right? They get a job and they save their money. And you don't do that. Mm-mm. Can you see a Negro? My son, this is 10 years old. My sons told me that they had some jeans that cost $300. I know that's not true. Is that not true? It's true. They probably done went up now to $400 or $500. And niggas wear them jeans. Not no $20 jeans that he can get on sale. Mm-mm. He got to have $400 and $500 jeans. Look, these ain't jeans, I guess, or something. Right? Who told him to do that? Boss man. Everybody else come here and they save their money and they discipline their family and they do all of that. Right? Because they brought those habits and customs 3,000 and 4,000 years of history with them. And they know you, the human being, has to do those things. And they was all taken from you. Well, we getting them back. We're going to charge boss man for everything he stole. We're going to get him in court, the human court about it. Yes, we are. You can sit up here and laugh all you want. You can whoop the white man and you can whoop the Zionists. Psychologically, we've already done it. We do it all the time. And we read to the people here when we started this comeback, like if we started in 80 and 79 or something, you can look and you can see when we started this particular project in 1986, right? When we stole all our records. So everybody go here and know. Anyway, let me speed up. We have openly defeated the full force of Zionist Americanism in the battle space of their choice. using a special blend of structured traps based on historical African American culture. We have also evolved to totally encircle and suppress well-equipped, well-armed, well-employed, and seemingly invisible Zionist American forces. I told you a little while ago about moaning. This is a custom. Things were so bad, all the old people moan. Young people don't do that now. They don't even know what it is. But all the older people, when I was younger, all moaned. And that's all they did. And people stopped doing it and said, that's not modern. Yeah, it don't be saying nothing, but it be, once you get used to hearing it, you kind of get the trend. So we had to use everything. So what I did was I just went back. My father was born in 1900, and I used to hang around with him and all of his friends, and they were old. They had special techniques for dealing with the white man of those days. So we had to combine that which they used of those days, which the FBI know nothing about. They have no FBI, CIA agents, right? Black or white or any other color that remember that era. That's a whole composite strategy you could use. They don't know nothing about it. It's all old coonery and buffoonery. Then you have semi-modern black nationalism, discipline and focus. You can use that. And then La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. But how are you going to apply it? Why can't nobody come here and apply anything that works? How can all the imams get cases and go to jail or this, that, or they're scared to do anything? How can we do it? Because of that combination. Of course, don't forget faith. But the techniques that the old Negroes, that they done forgotten all about, used to support their family and to survive. Oh, boss man, that's why we have boss man. That's a boss man, you a good white man. Like we from Arkansas in the country, we had horses and mules to plow in. But in 1950, the big white man in town got tractors and trucks, and all of a sudden we had tractors and trucks on our farm. Before, when I was really young, my father would plow with mules and horses. G haul. That means G go one way, haul the other. You know what I mean? And them long straps, just like in the old days. But in those days, there was a big rich man in every town. And these are little towns. And all of a sudden, we got tractors, and I was just 5 years old, so I could ride. My brother who was 19, he'd drive the tractor, and I'd sit on it and ride it. I didn't have to do no work. That's why I liked the country. None of them liked the country because they used to work so hard. And I used to tell my father, Dad, I'd really like to go back to Arkansas. I don't want to go back down there. Because he had to work all his life. But me, I just rode on the tractor with my brother plowing, and I thought it was fun, chasing rabbits and stuff like that. But there's something. How could he use the white man stuff? Oh, you good old boss man. Oh, Lord, have mercy. You're a good white man. And if you just have old moles here, old Loosh, it'd be, and we got tractors and everything. Why? Because they had certain psychological game that the guy didn't forgot now. I would just tell you a little something. I forgot in California, we didn't have all that old Southern stuff. And in prison, you didn't mess with the guards and you didn't do nothing. So when I went to federal prison, I went up to McNeil Island. That's like Alcatraz. And so, as in Washington, in the federal pen is when we got all the Negroes from all over the country. And all the old Negroes, I saw that they could get anything they want from the guards, because the guards wasn't that very bright. They was all soldiers, ex-soldiers. And I was wondering what they, and all of them would use the term boss man, boss man. You know, just like the chain gangs, all that old Southern stuff. They were slicker than that. We thought we were slick, California, them old Southern Negroes, they could get anything in the penitentiary they wanted. Why? Simple term, boss man. Boss man, that letting him know he's in charge, right? And if you will allow poor old Negrocious here just a little bit of extra bread, or I hear y'all got some ice cream in the freezer, boss man, all that beef left over in there, boss man, you think I could make a couple hundred sandwiches? Of course, you're going to sell them all on the cell block, right? All it was one thing. Boss man, let that cracker know he's in charge. And anything he do is just helping poor old humble Negro, right? They had game. They had game, and we come up, we want to, white man, you ain't nothing, we gonna da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he just killed all the Negroes from Maya. There's only a few left. There's only a few Black Panthers. You know, they tell you they's black. That's a lie. It's only a handful left alive and active right now. And ain't but one teaching anti-Zionism. Anyway, I'm going to speed up and I'm going to let y'all go. Make the world safe. We shall be raising funds in various centers for the next several months, especially during this month. We work to liberate Muslims from Zionist oppression. Support us, we'll support you. We thank you in advance. And then it says at the bottom, we shall, with Allah's help, challenge the Zionist American Saudi mafia who are committed to we are committed to human liberation process. The As-Sabiqun liberation movement has served the Islamic community for over 40 years. You help us to continue this fight for justice, and we'll help you. Dear believers, we're in a big fight. You could just stay doing what you're doing, but at the same time, help us. We're not going to take no rest, hide in the corner. So help us, but you got to have confidence that we know what we're doing. We wouldn't have been here this long if we didn't know what we was doing. And we using what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, not what he gave somebody else. You got to have the understanding of what your gifts are. Why can't the three biggest Zionists do anything to us? Because we're black, and we just making fun of them. What, you're going to hurt us just for making fun of you? Why, you a real mean old Zionist, right? Why, we just making fun of you, and they got Sean Hannity and all these Euros, right? Ask anybody. We was on that 10 to 15 years ago and haven't been on there since. Because we told the man that you like George Bush, well, you like the biggest, you must be the biggest fool in the world, because George Bush is the biggest fool in the world. If you like him, then you're a big fool just like your boss. No more. Why? Because they don't like your attitude. They don't like your delivery. They don't like you're not fearful of the system and all the power it has. So, dear believers, support your friendly brothers here, and Leave the Zionists to us. If you want to keep driving your little car and running up and down the street, go ahead. Just help us out, and we'll whoop the white man for you. The Zionist, not the white man. It's not a racial thing anymore. It's the Zionist. Remember, the Zionists rule America. The Zionists control America. The Europeans are oppressed themselves. White folks is working in McDonald's and sweeping up. White folks got bigger loans for school than you do, and they're committing suicide quicker than anybody. White folks. I'm telling you that America has gone crazy, right? And we got to help America by helping the American people, right? We got to show them who's making your life miserable, who's spending all your money, who's ruining your life. The Zionists are. Remember, that's simple. We just show them who the Zionists are. They said, that's right. Well, Lord, we seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief. We seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek thy refuge from cowardice and ignorance. We seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice us what is lawful, keep from us what is prohibited. With thy grace, make us free from want of what is besides thee. Ameen. Ikamati salat.